All right, now we are back and going to solve equations of the form ax equals c, which is different than the other set. And I think you can see that just by looking at these. It's usually a number times a variable. This number right here, by the way, is called a coefficient. I-C-I-E-N-T. And that coefficient is multiplying this variable, which is equaling another number. So this just means 3 times what number equals 36. 3 times what number equals 36. And the way that you would solve this, if I can just erase that a little bit there. There we go. The way you would solve this is to divide both sides. See, this is multiplying that number. So the opposite of multiplying to get rid of it is dividing. And this is how you would show that work. You divide both sides. You always do the same thing to both sides. So that would cancel that. Now, there's a debate out whether you should actually write that in there or not. Some people say cancel it, some people don't. But this is going to just become x here. 3x divided by 3. If that cancels, will just be x equals 36 over 3, which is 12. 36 divided by 3 would be 12. And now, can you check that? Of course. Just take 3 and evaluate this expression here by putting 12 in for that and see if it works. Well, this is, of course, 36 equals 36, which is correct. And you can see we're playing a game of divide by the coefficient. And that's what we're going to be doing on this whole panel here. So we're going to divide by that coefficient, always dividing by the number next to the variable. That will cancel. A equals whatever negative 48 divided by 4 is. And that's, of course, going to be a negative answer because we only have one negative sign, and that's going to be 12. 48 divided by 4 will be 12. That is the correct answer. And here, this time, the variable is on the right side with the coefficient, but we're still going to divide by the coefficient. Always dividing by the coefficient. We're not changing any signs or anything like that. We're just taking whatever's written here. So if that was a negative, like it's going to be on this one, we would divide by the negative. This is going to be y equals 30 divided by 3, which is 10. And here's that thing we have, that dilemma from the last video where the number is on the left and the letters on the right. But, it's okay. That's still y equals 10. This one, we are going to divide by the negative 19. Whatever the coefficient is, just divide by it. That way when it cancels, negative 19 divided by negative 19 is positive 1x. And this is going to be, of course, a positive because we got the double negative, and that's going to be 4. 76 divided by 19 is 4. Moving along, a little bit different this time, but this is basically about as hard as it gets in this section. This is 81 equals, and you need to combine these like terms here. We'll combine those like terms. 15x minus 6x is 9x. And we'll divide by 9. Same thing to both sides. That's the coefficient. I know I've said that 10 times already, but that would be 9. 81 divided by 9. This fraction right here is just 81 over 9, which is 9. That's all that is right there. This one, 7x plus 3x would be 10x equals negative 90. We divide by the coefficient. It's just rinse and repeat at this point. X equals negative 9. And once you get skilled, you can do that whole page full of problems really quickly, actually. This is negative here because we have one negative sign. We only have one. All right. So that probably was pretty smooth. I would even guess to say better than the other one. But now we have one of the more confusing problems in the entire book or class. And here it is. I'll try to make you understand this. It says there are 4 times as many roses R. So R is going to be red roses. And W will be white roses. It says there are 4 times as many red roses in the garden as there are white roses in the garden. And part A says translate this statement into an equation. Well, let me just put it out there. So is it R equals 4W, or is it W equals 4R? Okay, take a second, pause it, and debate this. All right, now I would just guess, if this class is anything like, or if you were like the rest of the students, people will probably say W equals 4R because it says 4 times as many red roses. But if you think about it, this cannot be true. This is actually wrong right here. That is not correct. Let me show you why. If I said that there are 2 red roses, and I was using this as my correct answer, if I said there are 2 red roses, how many white roses would there be? White would equal how many? Well, according to the statement, it says there are 4 times as many red roses in the garden as white roses. So there's a bunch more red than there are white. So if we plug this in here, the white rose total will be 4 times 2 reds, which equals 8. And that can't be right, because with this being said, if there are 2 red roses, there are 8 white roses, and that's backwards. You see that? This says there are 4 times as many white roses as there are red roses. So let's test this with this over here. In fact, we can look at B to do this. This is the correct answer right here, because this says if you have 8 red roses, this is wrong here. If you have 8 red, then, and there are 4 times as many red roses as there are white, then there should be 2 whites. So if I plug this in here and check it, 8 red would equal 4 times how many? And you can see that that's going to be 2, right? So if I divide by 4 using it, it's just, then W would equal 2. That's just like the problems we did on the other slide over here. That's just like these problems. Like you could see that. That was probably kind of a mess there, whatever. But this is the answer. If there are 8 red, there are 2, get back on the thing, 2 white, which is what we're looking for. And then part B, so this is the correct answer right here. Very confusing. Find the number of white roses if there are 64 reds. So if this is our formula, red equals 4W, and if we have 64 red, then how many white? So we plug in 64 for the red, 4W, we divide by 4, that's the coefficient, that thing cancels, and W would equal 64 divided by 4, which is 16 white roses. So 16 white roses. All right. Have a good one.